He stands in front of a mirror, staring at himself, feeling like nothing in his life is really moving forward. He grabs a notebook and writes an ambitious list. Save more, get fit, read more, wake up early. Everything, starting tomorrow. The next morning, he tries to do it all at once, exercising hard, skipping breakfast to save money, reading for an hour. By the afternoon, he's exhausted, overwhelmed, and has already given up on half of it. That night, he crosses out his whole list in frustration, feeling like big change just isn't for him. Days pass. He falls back into the same routine, same spending, same habits, same stuck feeling. He checks his savings account, still nearly empty. He sighs, rubbing his face in quiet frustration. A friend asks how his new year, new me plan is going. He laughs awkwardly and admits he gave up. Alone that evening, he wonders if slow, steady people are just lying about ever getting anywhere. Scrolling his phone, he stumbles on a short video titled, "Why 1% Better Beats 100% Motivation." He pauses. He watches closely as the video explains. Improving just 1% a day compounds into being 37 times better in a year. His eyes widen. He rewinds it, watching the math again, trying to fully understand what it means. He grabs his notebook again. But this time, instead of a huge list, he writes just one line. 1% better? That's it. He thinks about his money habits and picks one tiny doable change. Save just a little more than yesterday. He thinks about his health and picks one small change too. Walk a few extra minutes. Nothing dramatic. He smiles slightly, almost surprised at how small and unintimidating this new plan actually feels. The next morning, instead of a huge workout, he does a short, easy walk around the block. At the store, instead of restructuring his whole budget, he simply skips one unnecessary item. That evening, he reads just 5 pages of a book instead of forcing himself through an entire chapter. He checks off his notebook with a small tick mark. It felt easy, almost too easy. Day after day, he repeats these same tiny actions. Save a little, walk a little, read a little. A week in, nothing dramatic has happened. His bank balance looks about the same. He feels a flicker of doubt. He almost quits, wondering if 1% is really just too small to matter at all. He rewatches the video from before, reminding himself that compounding is slow before it's fast. He decides to keep going, even without seeing results yet, trusting the process instead of the outcome. He sets a simple daily reminder on his phone. Just 1% today. Nothing more, nothing less. Weeks pass. He barely notices it anymore. The tiny habits have quietly become part of his normal day. He checks his notebook, flipping through page after page of small, consistent check marks. One day, without thinking twice, he walks past a shop item he would have bought on impulse before. He barely registers it as a win. It just feels like who he is now, not a struggle anymore. He adds his small daily savings into a jar, watching it slowly, steadily rise. He finishes another short book, closing the cover with quiet satisfaction. On a morning jog, longer now than his very first small walk, he barely feels out of breath anymore. He glances at a calendar covered in small check marks, realizing just how consistent he's actually been. A friend notices he seems calmer, more put together lately, and asks what changed. He tries to explain it simply. "I didn't change everything. I just got 1% better every day." He checks his bank balance out of habit and pauses, surprised at how much higher it's gotten. He traces his hand-drawn savings chart, watching the line curve upward faster than it used to. His stack of finished books has grown taller than he expected without ever forcing himself to read more. He goes for a run that would have exhausted him months ago and finishes it feeling strong. He realizes the changes didn't feel hard along the way. They only look big now. Looking back, he starts applying the same 1% mindset to a new side project, adding just a little effort each day. Small, steady progress on the project starts adding up, just like everything else has. He sets a slightly bigger money goal now, no longer intimidated by big numbers the way he used to be. He reaches that goal sooner than expected, almost without noticing the exact moment it happened. He looks back at his very first notebook entry, 1% better, that's it, and smiles at how far that took him. He realizes he never needed motivation or willpower spikes, just one small, repeatable action each day. He shares the idea with the same friend from before, who looks genuinely intrigued and starts writing it down. Sitting calmly at his desk, he reflects on how different his life feels now compared to a year ago. He sketches a simple compounding curve on paper, flat and unnoticeable at first, then sharply rising. 1% doesn't feel like much on any single day. That's exactly the point. It's not about huge, dramatic changes. It's about small ones you can actually keep. He writes one final line in his notebook. Small steps, repeated daily. That's the whole rule. He looks up from the page, calm and steady, no longer chasing overnight transformation. He closes the notebook gently, resting his hand on the cover for a quiet moment.